been told that America is a Christian country from its origin, one nation under God. We've been taught that our government is for the people, by the people. But what if it's all been just a grand deception? What if the God, worshipped in secret by government leaders in our nation's capital, is in fact our enemy? And many of our leaders have been venerating him secretly through arcane rituals, setting the scene for the incarnation of this ancient entity.
The nation of America has a hidden history that most people aren't really aware of. Okay, these are fallen angel entities over nations, over land, over different areas, but it's all stepping towards the New World Order. They want the New World Order, and the New World Order is actually seen as a good thing in their eyes.
So the third level is tapping into the spirit realm to be able to get your power and to be able to get your direction.
He had found a secret location in DC where the Antichrist would be resurrected. Hey, what's up? This is Justin Fall.
This is Westfall,
and you're watching
End Times Productions.
What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order, where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause to achieve the universal aspirations of mankind: peace and security, freedom, and the rule of law.
How would you assess this evening?
This was a stirring address, in my view. Shorter than his father's speech when he announced the New World Order. Shorter than his father's speech when he announced the New World Order.
It's talked time and time again about a new world order. And this is the best chance to begin to establish the new world order.
Warned his people about the Antichrist, about Dajjal, the false Messiah. And the prophet Noah warned his people. But I say to you something that none have said before me. The Antichrist sees with one eye, his left eye. He's blind in the right eye. It looks like a bulging grape. But your Lord is not one-eyed.
The walls between races and tribes, natives and immigrants, Christians and Muslims and Jews cannot stand. These now are the walls we must tear down.
He will call to a false religion and bring something which resembles paradise and hell. But that which resembles paradise will in fact be hell, and that which resembles hell will in fact be paradise. He is the Dajjal, meaning impostor. The prophet further foretold that this liar would start to conquer the world, country by country, fortress by fortress, region by region, town by town. The one eye is one of the ways to recognize the Dajjal. The one eye is the symbol of the Freemasons. It is part of their beliefs and is taken from ancient Egyptian mythology.
You see, global corporations not only fund and develop large technological and military projects here and abroad, they also own the consumer industry and production, as well as all of the important media. By owning the vast majority of what we hear and see on a daily basis, we have been manipulated on a mass scale as to regards to what we believe and desire, both socially and politically. Edward Bernays, the nephew of world-famous psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud, would study group dynamics and become the father of public relations. He authored the book Propaganda in 1928. In it, he described how to intelligently and consciously manipulate the habits and opinions of the masses within a democratic society. He went on to state that those who harness this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government and are the true ruling power. It is they who pull the wires which control the public mind, who harness old social forces and contrive new ways to bind and guide the world.
Although costs at the pump are ready to break the dreaded $20 ceiling.
We got communists! Let the dead communists!
Across the nation, civil unrest has intensified with the demise of the U.S. dollar.
This is not a retreat, nor are we abandoning our Asian allies.
Under threat of annihilation by the Greater Korean Republic, Japan has surrendered.
Martial law is now in effect. Excessive force will be used.
Hours after the president ordered a freeze on bank withdrawals.
We don't know where we will get our next meal from.
Korean annexation continues to spread. Today, the Greater Korean Republic launched their latest communication satellite, claiming it will bring a message of peace to the entire world.
When you go shopping, watch TV, read a magazine, or walk through the city, how well do you pay attention to the assault of logos that invade your space? Have you noticed the same symbols that show up in thousands of logos? Or have you fallen into a media-induced slumber, accustomed to the assault? Humanity has been conditioned by symbolism, and today we are bombarded by logos. The average American is exposed to 600 commercial messages each day. Some symbols and messages we recognize, and some we don't. And what we don't understand can be used against us. And don't think that it stops there. Religious organizations, governments, astrologists, secret societies, non-profits, and health organizations clearly understand the effectiveness of symbolism to communicate a message. Political campaigns are using subliminals in their ad campaigns. The entertainment and gaming industries know that symbols have emotional power and they play on it. The question is, do you know?
Do I think that the FBI and the CIA, I'm not talking about the whole group. There's a lot of good people in both agencies. But do I think that they're incompetent? No. Do I think they've been infiltrated? Yes. And in the FBI in particular, I'll tell you what happened here when Reagan was president. They were having difficulty getting agents on the street to advance to the supervisory level. Of course, that's a very important position. And because the fund is on the street, it's not sitting behind a desk all day pushing paper. So they sent a memo out, this is what I've been told by some of my friends, to the street agents, anybody that wants to be promoted, submit your resume, let's go from there. Well, as a result, I think that what they did is the good agents stayed on the streets, and the other agents, the Illuminati members, if you want to call them that, not all of them, of course, advanced to the supervisory level. On one occasion here during the Atlanta, Georgia Olympics, there was a spokesperson on for the FBI on national television in connection with the bombing that took place down there, and I had a call from an adult survivor. Adult survivor is somebody that's born into the movement, the cults, is raised there, gets out, tries to go straight and stay away from it. But I had a call from an adult survivor and said, this person told me, a woman, that she recognized that FBI spokesman as having attended satanic meetings in the past. So I'm saying that, hey, they've had 230 some years to put this together. They're advancing. I know of one adult survivor who was a recruiter and a trainer. She was training other people in San Diego area to recruit survivors. And she was recruiting 26 people at a time, other people, teaching them how to recruit in the satanic movement. It's a very serious problem. So I'm sorry I couldn't make it any shorter than that. Ask Eustace a question. This hierarchy, this hidden hierarchy that we have, I've tried to research and locate a headquarters for this element. It'd be nice if we knew where that was, and also how often they meet and where they meet. Do you have any information on that?
Well, for quite a few years, I believed that the headquarters was the office of N.M. Rothschild in London. And I still think that they do have a special office somewhere, but it's these people. Now, there is also, behind the scenes, a demonic force, whether it's extraterrestrial or what but it's definitely a demonic anti-human operation. And that's why I say I've never been able to get, I've never seen any artist rendering or imagining of this force, because apparently it's something so horrible we can't even conceive of it.
It's interesting, too, that in the Bible, the Apostle Paul uses an interesting term when he says that we have a fight not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and the forces of darkness. He uses a term in Greek, cosmokratoros, or rulers of this world darkness.
Are we losing sight of the fact that Oklahoma City, the World Trade Center 93, and that 911 is actually a ploy in order to take away many of our constitutional rights and civil liberties? That's what it's all about, as far as I'm concerned. And then if you're going to conquer the world, you got to conquer the United States first, because we're the strongest in the world. And in order to conquer us, you can do several things. Number one, you control the food, as Henry Kissinger has said in the past. Take away your constitutional rights, civil liberties. Put the so-called enemy behind bars and control them. Set up the 10 districts that's been set up in this country, so we won't be able to travel from one district to another. And the internment camps. I was talking to the former civilian head of the prison system in the state of Texas in 1997, and he told me that there are 8 prisons in Texas, brand new prisons that have been built, that are manned, but there's no inmates in there. So that's, in my opinion, sure, money's part of it, but the bottom line is another step toward taking over the United States and taking over the world, the Illuminati plan, the golden plan. That's a tough act to follow, isn't it? Bo is a great guy. Everybody up here is great. I'm so proud to be up here with them. I'm really flattered, because I know we have some real Americans here. Brian, thank you for inviting me and
thank you,
making
Ted.
me part of this fantastic event. I've given a number of lectures across the country, and I have to say this is rates number 1 as far as your people are concerned, and as far as
thank you very much.
But the people are waking up, and I notice it as I travel around the country, and this is great. This is wonderful, because that's what we have to do. We have to wake people up. I can say this, that since I got out of the Bureau, FBI, 1979, 23 years ago, and became involved in these issues, that I've done everything I can to wake up my fellow brothers and sisters, and along the way I've lost an awful lot of people that I thought were friends. I mean, they don't even return phone calls anymore, but I don't care. because it's important that we follow the path of truth, that we don't weave to the left or to the right. If you know you're right, and my mother and father taught me this, if it's the truth, you don't have to apologize to anybody. And that's what we have to do. That's what each and every one of us has to do. I have a tremendous amount of research, as you know, if you visited my table, and anybody that bought any of my research, there's no copyright with me. I want you to take it and make copies and get it to your friends. Educate as many people as possible. One of the most common questions I'm asked is, what can I do? I'm a housewife. I'm a businessman. Usually it's housewives. Well, what you can do is get the research, get mine and everybody else's up here and whatever else you can find, and pass it on to your friends. Get the videotapes. People are lazy today because they don't like to read. They'd rather watch the videotapes. But if that's what it takes, get the videotapes and make copies and get them out to your friends. And then I think that most important thing, other than trying to educate each other and research and tell your neighbor, most important thing is that we have a mission to save our own souls and save the souls of all of us around us. So that's got to be one of the highlights of this whole campaign, to expose this evil element that's casting its shadow across our great nation. And so as we go forward from here, folks, don't apologize to anybody. Just do your thing and talk to your brother and sister and say, hey, come on, let's go. We've got to save your soul too. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Ted.
It's completely real, and you need to look into it.
My awakening, it didn't happen at church the way that some people find God. I just pretty much had given up my faith, and I'd given up where I was at, and I was just kind of at the point where I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have the best time I can here, and when I die, that's it. I still wasn't sure if it wasn't 100% crazy or not, but I was reading these articles and looking at these things, and I was like, you know, I've seen things at parties, I've seen artwork, I've seen statues, I've seen things in some people's houses that just seem to be mimicking occult stuff I'm reading about. So I was like, maybe there is something to this. I'm just gonna say this, I didn't find God because I went to church. I found God because I realized that the Luciferian and the other side, the occult world, was real, and that I had been fooled for all these years